Hello! Today I'm going to introduce you to the concept of separable and inseparable prefix verbs. Separable prefix verbs are verbs in German whose beginning prefix is separated from the conjugated verb and placed at the end of the sentence. Let's take a look at how these function in a sentence. Take the verb mitbringen. The separable prefix is mit. In the sentence, Ich bringe mein Deutschbuch mit, notice how the conjugated verb is bringe and the separable prefix mit is kicked to the end of the sentence. However, if a separable prefix verb like mitbringen is not used in a conjugated form, it will remain whole with the prefix attached, like in this sentence, Ich muss mein Deutschbuch mitbringen. The only exception to this is if we use a conjugated separable prefix verb, like in the first example sentence we used, Ich bringe mein Deutschbuch mit, but have it follow a subordinating conjunction like weil. It will reunite with the prefix at the end and read like this, weil ich mein Deutschbuch mitbringe. Now, let's see if we can determine what the prefixes are on the following verbs. Über, be, an, für, wieder, mit, and for. Not all of these are separable prefix verbs. One way of telling if it is a separable prefix verb is determining which syllable of the verb is stressed. If the prefix is stressed, it's most likely a separable prefix verb. Okay, which syllable is stressed? Überlegen, bezahlen, anrufen, verkaufen, wiederholen, mitbringen, vorstellen. Okay, so that's not that hard if you know how to pronounce the verbs correctly in German. If you don't, you can pretty much figure it out by remembering which prefixes are inseparable with a certain phrase. Enter the full beer rifle. Now let's say that phrase with a little more German accent. Enter the full Biergewehr. So, while the phrase might not make that much sense, it is helpful to remember the verbs that have inseparable prefixes. In case you were wondering, the German word for rifle is Gewehr. Okay, so just a quick recap. How do we know if it's a separable prefix? If the prefix is the stressed syllable, it's a separable prefix. And if the prefix is not ent, ter, voll, be, ge, or für, it's separable. Unfortunately, there are some exceptions. These are the tricky ones, which can be either separable or inseparable depending upon the verb or even sometimes the context. These ones you just have to memorize. Here's an example of how the meaning can change based on whether or not the prefix is separated or remains attached to the conjugated verb. Fährt das Schild means he knocks the sign over, and umfährt das Schild means he drives around the sign. Okay, let's try a few examples to practice what we've learned. Alright, let's build a sentence with these words. Ich bezahlen and Geld. Ich bezahle Geld. The verb is not a separable prefix verb, so the prefix remains attached. Now let's try building a sentence with these words. Mitbringen and das Buch. Bringt das Buch mit. This verb does contain a separable prefix, so it goes to the end. Okay, next one. Make a sentence with these. Ihr aufräumen in das Zimmer. Ihr räumt das Zimmer auf. This verb also contains a separable prefix, so it goes to the end. Okay, now this one. Wir fernsehen en jeden Tag. Wir sehen jeden Tag fern. This is also a separable prefix verb. Now try this one. Ich besuchen en meine Tante. Ich besuche meine Tante. This verb is not a separable prefix verb, so the prefix remains attached. Gut gemacht! It was a pleasure learning about separable and inseparable prefix verbs in German with you today.
Created using Powtoon.